Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS, and in today's video we're going to kick off a fun little series we're going to do here on YouTube, and it is going to be with our lovely friend Shannon at She's Crafty, and all the links will be listed below. So what we're going to do is a series called Something Old, Something New, Something Borrowed, Something Blue. Just a fun way to look at your stash and your supplies. And then what we did was I picked a piece of paper, and then Shannon picked a piece of paper, and then that was it. That was the only rules. We just started with the same piece of paper, and I haven't seen Shannon's kit yet, so I'm excited to see what she does, because if you know me and you know Shannon, we both love making kits, we both love kit videos, and also if you love to see design work and design team work, definitely head over and see what Shannon does, because she rocks all of that. I just adore everything she does. I adore her channel. I wish she was my neighbor. I really do. So the paper I picked was Fancy Pants Memory Lane, and the paper that Shannon picked was Echo Park A Day in the Life. And so you can see that we both picked flowers, which is fun. And then he also had a touch of blue in it. That was just a bonus. We didn't plan it that way. So when it comes to the old, the new, the borrowed, and the blue part, what I did was I waited until I had my papers picked out for my kit, and then I think it's easier to pick those options. So let's go over the papers. Now, once I had these laying here side by side, for me, I saw two different mood and feels. And over at Patreon, we talk about that a lot, because different colors evoke different feelings, different patterns evoke different moods. So it all depends on how you look at it. It's all subjective. So I thought, well, maybe I'd pick some darker papers for this option and maybe some brighter papers for Shannon's option. And maybe I'll end up with two separate little kits. Who knows? And then we're going to create about 3 layouts. And then over at Patreon, I may play with this a little longer, so you're more than welcome to hop over and join in on the fun. So let's start with the one I did first, because this one just came together so quickly. And I would say this kit built itself. It really did, because the colors are so easily to pick from items you already have in your stash, if that makes sense. So here's the Memory Lane Fancy Pants. This one is called Simple Times, and the B-side is just a neutral of a darker color of polka dots. So along with that, I picked, now this is going to look more vintage, more heritage, more darker, and it's just the way it came about. So here I have a Bow Bunny piece of paper from 2014. It's just a darker, almost into a little bit of the gold, like a maize color. And then I have, what's on the back? Just a chevron. You can tell that's from 2014 when you see chevrons. That was the trend back then. And then also I have a piece of teal paper with music notes. See how I have this vintage looking thing going on? It's just the way it works. And then the B-side does have some gold glitter. I think that came from a paper pad. Then we have a Jen Hatfield with this beautiful pink gingham diagonal. See how this is just going along so good. And then I have something from Fancy Pants. Now this is 2022 right here, Fancy Pants. This one here is 10 years ago. Well, now 13 years or 11 years ago, 2012, and this is from Hopscotch. And here we have some newsprint, vintage looking. And then I have some Asuka paper in some wood grain. So a very simple color range, but oh my goodness, is it so pretty. And then as I was looking at some things that was coming into my stash, you know, we all was shopping at that Felicity Jane closeout sale, is that in the Aspen collection, there was also this one. So say if I use this one right off the bat and it's gone, I would need something else. So I added this one. I just like the colors. I could use this with so many of those. And then of course that's just a neutral on the background. So when you are building a kit and you do have an inspiration piece, something I've learned that if I want to play with it more than once, if this inspiration piece is gone, what do you have left? You might need another tie-in sheet. So that's why I added this Felicity Jane as a tie-in sheet. Look at that. Doesn't it look good with this? Bow Bunny? Yes. Does it look good with this? Yes. Does it look good with this pink? Yes. So again, maybe add in 2 inspirational pieces when you're doing a kit. So I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. I might not want to do this darker vintage heritage. I just love it. I just love these colors. Now, here's the one that Shannon picked, but maybe I'm in the mood for something brighter. And so it just worked out that way. I don't normally do it this way. So we're starting with this beautiful day in the life. Now, I wanted to show you that the paper that I picked also works well with what Shannon picked, because here is the Fancy Pants paper, and if I turn this over, you might not necessarily want to use both of those together, but if I turn this over, right there is that blue, right there is that pink. You definitely can use this together if you wanted to use this for the cut apart. So they really did go together, and we didn't plan it that way. You really can. If you want to do a cut aparts, check, 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 and check. You really can. It would work. It really would. It's just funny how that works. So what I did is I picked these papers here, and so I added for a background, I got in some Mintay, because you know we're all loving that 49 in Market and Mintay, and isn't this beautiful? Now you would never think that this day in the life paper would pair well with a Mintay, and this is from Marina. But it does, because look at this color. This yellow is the exact same color. So I put that in for a background. I put in some Maggie Holmes. This is from, which one is this from? Parasol. So I put, oh, that goes good too, that color. But I put it in for the background of the ledger. Love how this is turning out. And then again, a Felicity Jane piece of paper, another pink. And then this one is from Paige Evans Splendid. I think this is one of the most perfect blue papers that Paige ever came out with. It looks like a pair of denim jeans, and isn't it perfect with this blue? Again, these just built themselves. And then I wanted to add in a pop of green, and guess what I'm adding again? Another piece of that Aspen from Felicity Jane. So I'm really using Echo Park, Felicity Jane, Paige Evans, yeah, a little bit of everything, Mintay, and then another piece of that Aspen from Felicity Jane. There's that darker blue. And so it's okay to put papers in your kit that maybe not necessarily is in your inspiration piece, but this dark, I'd say dark teal, dark blue is in the flower centers. And then also the stripe, because as I said, if I take this away, if I take the Echo Park paper away that Shannon had us use, yeah, kind of basic. So here's a stripe. That'll give some variety. But then also, if I want to give my kit something that works well with this, how about this Maggie Holmes Parasol? Is that from Parasol? Oh, and there's the music notes. That goes good with this. Oh, this is a 2 for 2. Look at that. That goes good with that. So a lot of options. Is this postage stamp. Isn't these both beautiful together? So even though I started with Shannon's paper and it's a little bit brighter and happier than the one I picked, I really can use these papers along with this. There's the blue, there's the green, there's the pink, and then add in a variety. Or I could use this with Shannon's paper. So when it comes to picking papers, there's no rules. Just have fun. Now what I decided to do is, with my papers laying here, and I just had them laying like this for a few days and put my kit together, is that I decided to, I usually start with my alphas. So I went ahead and added my kit supplies, and then I decided to focus on our challenge of the something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. So what I decided to do for alphas, again, I reached for something that was just in my reach, which was some Felicity Jane alphas. And so I just picked some pink, and then also this graphite gray. That would be a neutral, and then this beautiful blue. And then also something I've learned over the years of scrapbooking, I don't do matchy-matchy. If it's blue, it's blue. It's all going to work. If it's green, it's green. If it's yellow, it's yellow. Don't sit there and have to think everything matches, because everything in our photos don't match. And then also just some basics. So I just picked these, and then I also tell myself, you know, when you're scrapbooking at home, this is just to get you started. Who says you have to use them? It's just a representation. You're going to use some alphas. And then here is something fun that I saw with this kit. Now, again, I didn't know that Shannon was going to pick that Echo Park paper. And Shannon didn't know I was going to pick this Fancy Pants paper. But one of my favorite thicker sets ever from American Crafts was from Bouquet. And isn't it amazing how this set of floral thickers, doesn't this go so perfect with what Shannon picked? It's perfect. And then if I flip it over, doesn't this side look really good with what I picked? Yeah, it's just amazing how that worked. I wish I could buy multiples of these. I have just loved this set. And then also I found some things that I thought would look good with Shannon's paper and then my paper. And then also if you have some Heidi Swapp Emerson Lane. Oh my goodness, is this not perfect with the piece of paper that Shannon picked? Oh my goodness, it's the same color. So I put that in there. And then it also goes good with the papers that I have. So a lot of the same colors. And then here's an old Fancy Pants Happy Go Lucky. I'm not sure what year. Oh my, this is old school. This is a button set. But I thought these goes so well too. There's the pink and the green and the yellow. And then also when you're building kits, this is something I had to tell myself, is that you're never going to find an embellishment pack that has the exact same colors of your papers in your kit. Just say, oh, there's a couple things that will work, and then you go with it. And then also what else? For my piece of paper, so I kind of put those in that pile for Shannon's paper. And then for mine, I found this Hobby Lobby die cut set, and we talked about that recently. These are massive die cut packs. They have 100 pieces in them for $5 at Hobby Lobby. I think they have 4 or 5 different sets right now. And this is just absolutely perfect. And they also go so well with the papers I put in. I'm going to call that Shannon's kit. And so I looked for things that looked good with my paper, things that looked good with Shannon's paper, and then if they look good all together, that's just a bonus. Now, a few other things that I added to this. Because I do this over a couple days, I have the papers laying here and I say, oh, this looks good, that looks good. Plop it on my desk and you see we got flowers, we got labels, all kinds of things. Is that I also decided to throw in this Bo Bunny set for that paper. Has some of that blue, has the more vintage look, and then some Prima Puffies, more vintage look. And then also Fancy Pants has a line called Memory Lane, and they had embellishments, which was my paper, so I decided to add that as well. And then here's some old Prima flowers, and here's some old Simple Stories stickers. So anything that looked good in these colors, I just plopped it on my desk. And then here is the most interesting thing, is that even though I didn't know the paper that Shannon was going to pick, and she didn't know what I was going to pick, you can see that Heidi Swapp Emerson Lane, that's exactly the same thing. This die cut pack from Hobby Lobby, exact same thing. And the reason why this all works good together, all of these papers work good together, every last one of them, is because this color scheme has been around before. Because if you look at Citrus Twist, and I think this was from their, was it Fresh Inspired line? Right there is the entire color scheme. If you were to take Shannon's paper and my paper and put them together, right there's the color scheme. So that's why it all works so well together. So this goes to show that when you are wanting to build a kit and you need some inspiration as far as colors, you do not have to look any further than sometimes your enamel dot packs, because our enamel dot packs really are a color scheme or a color range. And then you can just pull papers to go with that. Because if you were to look at this Citrus Twist, this is my Fancy Pants paper and this is Shannon's Echo Park paper all together. It's funny how that works in our supplies in our stash. So let's get to the something old, the something new, something borrowed, and something blue, because I did this part after I had picked out my papers and some embellishment. So I thought it was a little easier to pick these. So when I wanted to look for something old, I thought, what do I have that's old, I haven't played with, or maybe it would play nicely with these? And I thought, what do I have in some punches that is old? And so what I decided to do was to pull, now this was back in the archive, Jenny Bolin punches. And the fact that they're blue, well, that just works out even better. Do you still have some of these Jenny Bolin punches? And then I thought, Jenny Bolin. I haven't played with Jenny Bolin supplies for a long time. And then I thought, I think I still have some papers. So I knew where to go. They would be in my vintage category because that was Jenny Bolin style. And I have some papers. And you talk about quality papers. This is when scrapbooking was at its finest. So I just grabbed my few pieces of paper left over from Jenny Bolin. And so they will work well definitely with this fancy pants paper, and you never know what I could use with this other grouping from the Echo Park paper that Shannon picked. So when I was thinking about Jenny Bolin, I got the punches, I got some paper, and then I thought, I think I still have some Jenny Bolin stickers. I really do. So I picked those as well. Now you notice that this has red, and none of my papers have red. And I had to learn over the years, it doesn't matter, because maybe the photos that I decide to pick, maybe someone will be wearing red, or maybe there'll be red in the background. So the more color I get into a kit, I think the easier it is to use. So this is my something old, Jenny Bolin supplies. And I still have some Jenny Bolin inks, and they still work. They're still just as good as the day I bought them. So that's my something old, Jenny Bolin. Now my something new, and I thought, what do I have new that came into my space that would play nicely with these papers? And I have a box a box of washi that was from Hobby Lobby. So if you look at this last row of washi, I kid you not, again, you just never know what's going to pair so well. This last row of washi pairs so well with this Fancy Pants Memory Lane. Just beautiful. Now if I was to flip this over, look at this last row here. And that goes so well with Shannon's Echo Park paper and the papers that I picked. So that is a 2-for-1. So there's my something old, something new. Now what about something borrowed? So I decided to, now this is really digging into what we have, what we used to have, what we used to love. And so I decided to see if we could borrow some ideas from an old Creating Keepsakes magazine. And this is February 2010. So this is going to be, what, 13 years at this point? Could we go back in time and borrow some ideas from our older inspiration? Because, everything recycles. A lot of products we see nowadays are starting to look the same. So how about if we go back and revisit, and maybe we could borrow some ideas from this Creating Keepsakes. Look at this. Oh, there's some Becky Higgins sketches. Oh my goodness. Could we do that? Oh, we got articles. You never know what we could get inspired, and maybe borrow a sketch idea, maybe borrow a technique. Interesting. So that was my borrow. So we have something old, something new, something borrowed, and now something blue. So of course, our papers have blue. My Jenny Bolin punches are blue. Now here is something that I am working on in my space, is that, I have color boxes. So I thought I need to revisit my color boxes and maybe think about streamlining and downsizing my color boxes. So if I open this up, what is this? This is nothing but blue. So I have things from Not Just for Boys Kit Club. I have basic gray. I have doilies. I have buttons. I have braids. Yeah, I have everything. Now, this is 26 years worth of scrapbooking. And this is my blue box. So, yeah, I have quite a bit. So, I'm going to just keep this out and keep it open. And if I get inspired to use something that's blue, and I see something right off the bat. First of all, this Not Just for Boys. I just love what Paula and Meredith do. I will have the link below. If you are looking for something different, and also kits that are something different, you need to look that up. Isn't that perfect with this Fancy Pants? And then I saw this. I just get so excited so quickly. And this right here is a felt piece of paper. I think this was from KI Memories or Making Memories back in the day. Doesn't that go good with Shannon's? So you never know what you're going to get inspired by. Here's some Bella Boulevard paper clips. Oh yeah, just pretty stuff. So that is my something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. So I hope you join in. And again, if you're over Patreon, you can watch these, watch the videos there. If you want to watch it here on YouTube, you're more than welcome. And let's just get together, have fun, enjoy this hobby, and record the story together. Now in the next video, we are going to be creating layout number 1. I have no photos picked. I have no photos printed. And so you can see that when I build a kit, I do like a variety of colors. So I'm not stuck to just doing a certain group of photos. I can pick anything in my life, any place I've ever went to, and these colors will all work. So that's all I have for today. So come back to RTS and remember, keep recording the story. Bye.